sorry. Bad. Well, hell, I'll try not to make this suck.
Not with you.
Well, no. I'll try to raise the suck level out of the suck cellar into something resembling enjoyability.
Biology test.
Oh, just a lot of stuff going on.
Physics law test.
And I apologize. I think I told you guys this. I keep changing my assessments because I try to make them not parallel everybody else's. So years ago, I went from having a midterm and a final to having 3 exams. And that was great for a while, but now it seems like more people are doing the exact same thing.
Yeah,
So
I have 4 midterms, it's fine.
I'm just going to give 5 exams and nothing else. Kidding. Totally kidding. So speaking of exams, let's talk about what's going on this week and the beginning of next week, because part of it is actually stretches into next week. I sent an email out this weekend. I think a bunch of you got it. About the out-of-class part of the exam. So let's talk about that first, just because it's the more goofball of the two. So use that guy later. So if you're on the schedule page, here's week 5. That's hard for me to believe that next week is halfway through the term already. Yeah. Anyway, Einstein was so right about that. So here you guys are here, right? Yeah. So out-of-class portion. It's a PDF. It's got a spreadsheet that goes along with it. So let's go through that piece by piece. I'll talk about why you have both parts. You click on the out-of-class portion. Some of you may have looked at this already. You don't have to print this if you don't want to. You can. Of course you can. You don't have to print it though. You can also just leave it up on your monitor and do your work on scrap paper. What this is, it's a very long-looking document. And the reason it's long is because, contrary to what every person tells me about academic writing, I write like I talk. You'll see lots of quote marks, lots of exclamation points, lots of hell yes, and lots of footnotes. But it's me trying to kind of conversationally walk you through A, learning about Excel, and B, deepening your study of measures of center and variation. That's the idea, really. It's really to get you in there and kind of learn some new stuff, and also reinforce the old stuff with technology. So the whole, I'd say the first like 4 pages, I guess, up until the very last page, are all about answering the question, how many eggs do you get from your chickens? Okay? Now that is a loaded question. So how do you answer it? And don't tell me the answer right now, because part of the exam is answering that question in the way you think is the most fit. All right? That's kind of the point, is to give you as many different tools as possible to help you answer that question. Here's the data. But I'd be cruel and unusual if I gave you that data in that form and said, go play with this. That's where the spreadsheet comes in. If you click on that spreadsheet link, let me back out of here real quick. Oh, that says Algebra 1. I think I must use a template at some point. I'm going to open this guy over here, and then open the spreadsheet. Open with Microsoft Excel. I know it's Excel, but you all have access to this via your COCC accounts on campus. So if you have to, I would just say do it on campus if you don't have Excel on your own computer. You fire it up, and when I say you fire it up, if you read the PDF, it talks you through how to fire things up, and how to click, and what to click on, what to right click, what to left click. It walks you through all that stuff with lots of screenshots, which you'll notice in a second. So here are your egg production levels from January through April. I would have more. Actually, I had almost a year's worth, but we use newspaper as litter for the chickens. We grind up newspaper in a shredder. And Max likes to help me, which is awesome. Unfortunately, I had the newspaper sitting right next to all the data from all the egg production. And Max like, I got it, Daddy! And I was out there like scrubbing out the coop, and I come, I hear this brrrr, and I come in and I'm like, buddy, that's all. Oh. So I lost May through, I think it was November, to the chickens. So they laid eggs on it. Like, it's okay. So anyway, we got, and it's okay. Well, January through April's fine. And you get plenty of information from January through April. It's actually kind of fun to watch the ebb and the flow as the daylight changes, which is super fun. So anyway, you see how you have 3 tabs? You got 3 tabs on here. Just down a little bit. Moving average. Now this probably looks daunting, but that's what this project walks you through. That's what this walks you through. You'll notice as you scroll down and read this, lots of screenshots, lots of stuff you'll recognize from the actual Excel spreadsheet. It tells you to click, number of eggs, frequency column, look near the bottom of the sheet. There are 3 tabs. I'm assuming you've never turned Excel on before when you're reading this. If you have, it might be slightly boring at first. But even if you have, I think you'll learn something new. I think you'll learn something new even if you know Excel pretty well. Please, Robert.
And you said Excel only works on the PC, this one? If you have a Mac?
I use it and it works with mine.
It worked on the, oh, good, good. I don't know the answer to that question in general, sir.
Okay.
Here's the trick. There are certain graphs that do not behave on a Mac. It sounds like this one does. These do. So, Kate, you've already had this open?
Yeah, but I have Excel on my Mac.
Correct, but even the Excel on a Mac will not open correctly sometimes. So you're saying,
if he doesn't have Excel, I don't know.
but you do on your Mac? Yeah, the trick is, if you didn't have Excel on his Mac, I would have a complete and total, like, hands up in the air, I don't know. But even with Excel on the Mac, it's almost like Microsoft is like, one more time. Their licensing a product doesn't work 100% of the time. It works most of the time. All the basic commands work just fine. It's the graphics that kind of throw me for a loop. And the only one I'd be concerned about, if at all, would be this guy back here. But it sounds like, Kate, these are all working for you too?
I didn't look at this part.
This is the only part that might give you a headache. Anything graphical, anything formula-driven is fine.
Yeah, I have both computers. So.
Cool. Yeah, I would say just, I mean, if this gives you any kind of agita, go straight to the PC and do it from there.
Okay.
And thanks, Kate, for that. I haven't run this on a Mac, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Cool. So you got lots of screenshots. You got lots of screenshots in here that walk you right through it. Lots of formulas. You're going to learn how to put some formulas into Excel. How to get some extra credit opportunities buried in here too. Make sure you look for those if you care. You don't have to. And that's it. And then finally, at the end of all of this, the last 5 points of that question is, how would you answer my question? Oh, you got 4 chickens. How many eggs do you get each day? And there's no right answer to that. It's how you choose to answer it based on everything you've just done for the past 3 pages. Cool? That's it. Using measures of center in your life, or in my life in this case. But some of you have chickens too, so it's in your life. Some of you might have chickens. Some of you might have gardening yield. We'll attack that in the next project. So I'm trying best I can to bring life into the class, because otherwise it's just a bunch of formulas. Speaking of that, your last question is a little bit strange. It's a class Natalie and I take called Total Fit. Part of this class is called fitness testing, kind of like baseline testing, where you start the class, you get a baseline, then you do 10 weeks of class where you get your butt handed to you on a daily basis. And then you test again and you check for improvements. And I keep asking Jenny for the data every term, and she keeps forgetting to give it to me.
Oh.
And now she has a concussion, so I have to ask her again.
Yeah.
But anyway, part of this is called the 15-minute victory test. And a victory is a 200, and this is all written down. A victory is a 200-yard wind sprint. So you start at one end zone, sprint down to the other end zone, and sprint back. And you have to wait 30 seconds in between each one. And the clock starts at 0, and you have exactly 15 minutes to do as many as you can. And what this analyzes, this all started with a question that people always ask, that my friend Dave used to take this class with me a couple years ago. And we tried to figure out how fast would you have to run one of those so that you could do 15 in 15 minutes. And it's not as simple as, it's not like 30. You can't just say 30 seconds, this is not 30 seconds. And working that problem out with the total fitters, I realized this is kind of a fun question. Because nobody has done 15 in 15 minutes. The record so far is 14, which is what my friend Dee Dee did a couple years ago. My best ever, I got 13. I usually get 12. So the question is, how fast do you have to run on average to get the job done? Well, you're going to figure it out. That's what you're going to figure out on average to the nearest second, how long you have to go down and back to finish. I used to have it in miles per hour, and I realized that was dumb, because it's hard to process how fast in miles per hour you're running. But nobody can just, I mean, you can know what 36 seconds sounds like, or 41 seconds sounds like, or looks like, or feels like. So read the rules. The rules are up here. The rules are up here. Everything you need to know is up here. Read it carefully, especially the 30-second rests between. Please, Michael.
Why would it not be 30 seconds on average?
Read. You'll see why. It's all in those rules.
Yeah.
And it has to do with the 30-second rests.
Okay.
You'll see. Michael asked a great question. Why is it not just 30 seconds? You have 15 minutes. You run 15 victories. You get 30 seconds rest in between. Why wouldn't it just be 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off? Read. And you'll see why. You'll see why. It'll come to you one of those moments like, oh, duh. So, but this is what I say. This is not due till next Tuesday. Plenty of time. Plenty of time. Is it going to take you a week and a half to do? No. But might it take you a week to find time to sit down and do it? It sounds like it might with all the exams you guys have. It might take you a little bit of time. But that's again why I like having this out of class. Work with each other. I've also lifted the restriction. Years ago, when I gave my first one of these as an experiment, I took my entire second exam was an out-of-class assessment. My class thanked me by storming the testing center the day before it was due and sacking the tutors. The tutors therefore got pissed at me. And I made the rule right then that nobody gets to use the tutors on take-home exams. I've lifted that. You can use whoever and whatever resources you want, as long as you promise me you don't pull that crap. So next Monday, don't all of you go down to the tutoring center at 8 o'clock at night and find Jose and go, Jose, put down your dinner. You're doing my exam with me. Promise me you won't all slam down there. Promise me you'll use it wisely, which means you won't go down there last minute demanding answers. And when I say demanding answers, I want you to use the tutors wisely, which is, okay, I got to this point and I got stuck. Can you help me? That's what they want to do. What they do not want to do is, I can't do A. Okay, tell them why you can't do it. Where did you get stuck? Maybe it's processing the 30-second express. That could be it. But try it before you go down there. Use them. I want you to use them, but I also want you to use them properly. Does that make sense? Okay, they're going to ask questions like it infuriates students sometimes, because they kind of teach like I do, constantly asking questions. What do you mean? What do you think? How do you include that? And that's good, because that makes you question what you're learning at the same time. It's also why I love you guys working together on stuff. Because when you teach it to each other, you each learn it better. Yeah? So use any resources you want. Online resources, classmates, the other class has the same amount of class exams. If you know somebody in the other Monday, Wednesday class, you can use them as a resource. Use me as a resource. I'm not around all that much, unfortunately, because of office hours on Tuesday and Thursday. But you can always email me if you get stuck on something. Cool? How we feeling? Good? It looks wordy, and it is because it's instructional. I was going to make this all video-based, but I liked having the screenshots, like the static screenshots seem to be helpful. There are plenty of videos out there. If you need help dragging formulas, there are plenty of videos available. But I kind of like the way this kind of looked. Yeah? Yeah. Decent. Patrick?
Now, the in class
Yes,
is this.
yes, sir. That's this Thursday, yes.
Okay.
So what I want to do first, before we get into that, let's see if anybody has questions on variability, and then we'll talk about the exam on Thursday. Because I want to compare and contrast it with this for sure. But let's make sure we get variability questions answered first, if that's okay. So I will not ignore you. I will pause you. All right, let's back out of here. Variability. So if you look on the schedule page, which I've already jumped off of, you'll notice that it says, here's the sections your in-class exam, and also your out-of-class exam cover. They cover that. Although I was pretty light on the intro to prop stat on the out-of-class, because you're doing most of the graphical stuff on Excel. So it's not like you're doing a whole lot, it's Excel doing a whole lot. So I did include a little bit of that on this exam, which we'll talk about momentarily. Center and intro to prop stat we've already talked about and gone over homework question. Anything from variation give you grief?
Yeah, I got a question.
Go ahead, Robert, please.
Yeah, 15C.
15C, let's talk about it. Let's get the book out too. Let's fire this bad boy up. Materials. 15C, it looks like it's between 87 and 100. So that means we go to 97. And it's 15, you said? Mm-hmm. 15, 15, 15, 15, 13. There we go.
There you go.
Following histograms of box plot, this one. Determine which of the following are true and which are false. Explain your solution. Oh, this is a fantastic question. Okay, great. So, C, the standard deviation for B is larger than the standard deviation for A.
Right.
True or false?
Well, true. Well, what?
Good. Great. So, let me ask you a question. When I ask that question, let me start this, because this is a good place to break it.